maybe this way, maybe this way. All right, let me complete this one, guys, and then we will chat about a few things. All right, this one. All right, who's here? Who's here? Who's here? Who's here? Who's here? Welcome, guys. Our morning madness starts. All right, our morning exciting stream starts, and hopefully we can get a computer because I really need a computer right now. I want to stream the my TikTok on the tablet laptop because I want to show everything I'm doing, and even the YouTube studio, like streaming on the computer. I think would be the best thing to do because, hey, not everybody sees the things that I'm talking about most of the times, especially when my viewers on TikTok and YouTube do not see. So I think that's one thing we will change in the coming days, coming months, not days, obviously coming months, not days. Let me complete this document and send it. Hopefully I did not mess anything up here. Let's see. All right, so that one is submitted. Get out of the way. Let's go to the arena. We're going to live stream on the arena today, and the arena is gonna be the one we're gonna use the computer. Obviously, that live stream it never has a good camera because hey, I dropped multiple times. I dropped my computer multiple times, and right now it's not qualified for you. It's completely giving me like black and white images. So hey, it is what it is. All right. Until we get a better laptop, this is going to be the arena one. But obviously, I'm gonna use my phone for YouTube and TikTok. My phones, right? Multiple phones, obviously. But yeah, let's start the arena live stream. Let's get our fire going. Let's get our fire going. All right, that's our candle. Smells good. Smells better. All right, so all right, let's allow it. Let's turn the camera on and all right. So the second thing we're gonna do, obviously, when it comes to streaming anything on any audio that isn't copy free, the issue is going to be my YouTube live stream because it will be flagged, and that's one of the reasons I don't really play any audio. Is like I want to minimize the the chance of getting flagged by YouTube, especially when I'm doing my YouTube lives. Um, Simply because most of this live is basically for making sure we get monetized on YouTube. That's what we are. That's the main goal. Here in the arena, let's go to. All right, we have two options. All right, so I decided to change a little bit about my programming. daily lives. Obviously, it's gonna be too early because this is when I start my 12-hour shift, and this is the only time. Next 2 hours is the only time I have got a free time to kind of live stream without clients being awake. So I'm taking advantage of that. So a lot of people will be like, "Why are you streaming too early on TikTok and YouTube?" Not everybody in the United States is awake. And at this point, it really don't matter. If you're on TikTok, please go ahead and check the link on my profile. That's my YouTube. Currently, it's not monetized or anything, but we are pushing live streamings just to get the word out there that hey, we started posting again on YouTube. And subscribe if you like it, or kind of like share with your friends if it's something that interests you. All right. So from now on, from now on uh, we are going to add some like I only do financials after this month, like anything finances and articles about finances and what we expect in the market is going to do. And mainly once you see all the articles, it's going to give you indication of where the market is going. Generally, it doesn't matter where it's the risk assets like cryptos, or it's going to be traditional markets, or it's going to be gold. They all vibe together. The markets will give you, end of the day, what really, man, why is it doing this? Sorry guys, I am dealing with my computer. It's been obsessed the last few days. So it's not opening my articles, right? We kind of need a liquidity. That's reality in the market right now. And a lot of that liquidity is evaporating from the risk assets. And we've seen the effect of that. Bitcoin dropped from $126,000 to where it is right now. It's although everybody thinks it's recovering, it could just be a liquidity grab. Basically, when they kind of pushed them when the market went down, there was a lot of shorts that were building upside, and now what they're trying to do is liquidate some of those shorts, while a lot of longs are building at the bottom, right? And based on the levels that they have in the bottom side or to the bottom side. Hi, Daniel, welcome. Um, Bottom side or the top side, then they can decide whether they want to push the market down another 5% or another 15, 20%. It doesn't really matter. End of the day, the chart I showed you guys yesterday was a scary one, and it is the one that we are still. I'm expecting that to play because we are way down when you from the 50-week moving average, which if Bitcoin touches that and closes multiple weeks under that, you probably going that it's probably going to be a it's going to be a bear market, right? I showed you guys how yesterday, if you were with in my stream, that we are really far. We are really far testing levels that we tested as a support on April 2025. When you talk about Bitcoin, Bitcoin tested these levels April 2025 before we moved up. Bitcoin was high of $110,000 by January last year. January, this was really high. Basically, we have not done more than we only did $16,000 since January 2025. That's what Bitcoin did. It has not done much. It has not done much. And if you look at the levels that Bitcoin wants to come down and test it, it is the same level we moved away from April 2025, right? And that was the 75,000 level. Why is that important? Well, am I sharing with you guys on the Arena app? I'm not sharing, am I? Sorry guys, I will share right now. So basically, we are viewing this chart right here, and it's the chart that I showed you guys yesterday. Same one. Why are we testing this level as support? Because if it proves to be a strong support, if it proves to be a strong support, then Bitcoin can move up. Because the worst thing you can have is a crash. Now, if it has a strong support that's not easy to break, which means you have holders that are holding Bitcoin for the long term. They do not care if the price goes 30% down, 40% down, right? If that is a level you built, then they know no matter how the price comes down, it will not, no crash, will break Bitcoin down below $74,000. So if that, and since so far we're not even reaching the like the levels of buys that came in when Bitcoin was at 80,000 was staggering, and it's been the biggest buys. And we're not talking about normal people buying Bitcoin. We're talking about institutions or some people with deep buckets buying billions, putting billions of dollars into the market when Bitcoin came down to $80,000. So even before 74,000, we're seeing, right? We're seeing higher levels of money coming into Bitcoin, right? And the one of the reasons could be, hey, they see this as an opportunity. They see this is the levels we came down after going 110,000 by January last year, and this is the level between 88 to 74,000, and it could be the 50% level. So basically, when you come down to a support, right, each block of an area Bitcoin spent long period of time, like let's say 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, right? If Bitcoin spends a certain amount of time in that area is gonna have a chart. It's gonna have a resistance. It's gonna have a support, and it's gonna have a line in the middle called the 50% line. So whenever it goes to the resistance, and it cannot break the resistance to the upside, right? It comes down to the 50% and tests the 50% if that 50% is the really strong support. If the 50% is a strong support, which means the huge buy order sitting there to hold the price, then it tries again. So the third try, it will come down, test the support in the 50%, and then will most likely break that to the bottom side and test the ceiling, the bottom ceiling or the support to see if that's a real support or it needs to break down. And right now, a lot of people think this could be a bounce. Obviously, it could be a bounce because we are expecting the rate cut to uh, we are expecting rate cut in the markets, and not only that, the thing market really needs is a pivot in of by the Feds. What pivot? For now, liquidity, there's no liquidity in the market, which means the Feds are have been doing so far what's called quantitative tightening. They're really making impossible for people to have access for money. The loans were expensive, everything was expensive, everyone was sitting aside. Now, by December 1st, they're supposed to start what they call quantitative easing. So now, if easing, or maybe at best, stop quantitative tightening before they start quantitative easing. A lot of people are like, oh, by February or 29th or 28th of January, we're going to see the quantitative easing kickoff. But before it kicks off, by December 1st, we should be able to stop the quant. So there is expectation that the liquidity will flow into the risk assets. But what we see in the charts, although it's a good thing that we are kind of pushing up, but it's very weak. It's not substantial move to the upside. It looks like something like we have seen before, and I showed you guys yesterday the charts where I think it's exactly doing the same thing. It's even doing it did back then better. Remember October 10th, we had huge liquidations followed by a recovery, something we thought it would be a recovery for a couple of days, like a week recovery, right? And then it tricked everybody because the breakdown from there was substantial, 117 from 116,000. We came down to 80,000 without a stop, without a break. You literally had a single day green. You had no single day of green. Every single day from the October 30th to Friday the 21st was a red day for Bitcoin. Every single day was red, right? And now you can see, yeah, the market wants to bounce, but there's no liquidity in the charts. It shows you it's a it kind of looks like indecision in the market if I look at it. It's not a recovery on the daily, right? It's like a flat line, very tiny, small, so you candles, and you're like, no, this is not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. We're not attempting to go anywhere. We're not shaking anything. We're just flat, sitting there, doing nothing, just waiting for a break up or break down. And that is why I'm scared, because if we break to the downside, we are looking for lower 70s or mid $70,000. If we break to the low side, it's gonna be violent like we seen on November uh, or October 29th, something like that, right? It's gonna be huge, couple of weeks, breakdown, go all the way to maybe 70, test that level I was talking about, see if that's and that could be 40% down from the top, which is normal, okay, right? Which means you could have Bitcoin uh, doing what always it does on a bear market, but this could be a quick bear market that we see. I don't know. I don't know. Sorry guys, I thought I was unmuted myself on the arena. I just realized I was muted. Apologize. But that's the chart we're discussing, right? All right. So, well, that's the daily. The top one was the daily that we were viewing. Let's come to let's go to that's the 4 hour. You can see the line we drew back on November 25th, or was it November? No, the 21st. After that day, liquidation day, that day we seen about 80,000. The next day we drew these lines. We said it needs to respect. It needs to respect that line. It cannot break down. What do we see now? Right? This is the 4 hour. So each one of these candles is a 4 hour. You can see we tested it. We tried to hold it as a support. We failed that support. And now 1, 2, 3, we printed 4 hour candles. And this is gonna close in 2 hours. So it could be even lower, or you could try. We are going away from that. Now, if we broke that, and this is the 4 hour, let's see where the RSI is for that 4 hour, right? A good thing is you could say we closed 50% on the RSI, and we have a really good chance of pushing up like we did here, and we sustain the level. This is the level I was telling you guys. If we want to see this push up, and we already oversold on the RSI, what we need to see is extended over. We need to stay in this area long period, and that's what we did. Now we came down, but we still didn't touch the overbought. Sorry, that was overbought. We didn't. We're coming down to the oversold, but we're not the oversold yet. With 50%, almost like the half. We're below the half, but you guess what I'm saying, right? You understand? Because we came here just like we came here. We kind of had a little bit of relief bounce, and now it's coming down. Well, it's crossed, which means most likely that cross is gonna continue. We'll see where it goes. If it goes, if we try, if we say it's just gonna come down somewhere here to test this, that's in the 70s. If it comes back to test this line as a support, and that was the breakdown from there on the 20th or 21st. of November. If we test that, talking about 70s. So pray that we don't test that line, right? And it all ties up to the same thing. If we come down to test this line, you are somewhere here. Well, it could just be a normal wick like we did here, right? So it was doing nothing basically, but see how we had a really good liquidity back then. We were bouncing back and forth, trying to do something on the daily. And this is the daily, remember. All this violence is in the daily. So you can imagine the amount of liquidity we had. And we never had anything substantial move unless until we broke that line. And then ever since we went up. Anyways, that's enough for the charts. Like I said, I don't really like to talk about the charts and all that stuff because, hey, it's a bearish market right now. You should not be expecting um, you should not be expecting to move up at all. If we get, that's good, right? But at the time that we almost in December, so the expectations should be like 30% chance of moving up. I'm just saying, expect that the way around. This is the line I was talking about. If we do not hold, if we break the weekly, that line weekly, on the weekly, then it's gonna be 500 plus days of bear market. It's not something we haven't done it. It's something we did it before. Go back to the chart and see after the lunar collapse and everything that happened in 2021, and it's gonna happen. That's why we sold Bitcoin, because an entity in the United States was selling high. Now, what everybody doesn't know is who that entity is that kept selling since October, who they are, whether this is a forced sell, if they got liquidated or anything, they lost a lot of money. Nobody knows who this entity is. But the rumor is somebody is underwater. How much Bitcoin do they have? Is it the US government secretly telling everybody to buy and hold, selling it, the 200,000 Bitcoin they have? Is it BlackRock that's selling some of the 800,000 Bitcoin they have? Is it Michael Saylor that's selling the 650 Bitcoin, 50,000 Bitcoin he's got? Is it BlackRock that's selling? Is it Grayscale that's selling? Who is selling? Somebody's underwater, and we will know it. We will know it. And the market is really good at exposing bad actors in the market. But this may not be bad act. That's why they don't worry about it, because it's a normal exit. People are exiting. Yes, of course, there's huge. I mean, we're down 36%. We came down 36%. So somebody got affected and somebody sold heavy. What they planning to sell, we don't know. But also the market gives opportunity to somebody else who was in the sideline. They see this as a buying opportunity and they will buy it. All right, so you can see here, this is the time we cross, not even this one, sorry. I don't even think, this is 2020, yes. So weekly, it might seem small, but weekly, this is the time that we crossed that we broke down. See how this could be where we are, and we may see a bounce up all the way here, like something like this, and everybody's so hyped, and then you got weeks of sell-off. Literally had no break weeks. You can see that from March 2022, March 28, 2022, and see, now we are in somewhere good, right? The days are different because by November and December we had good bounces. I mean, good, we were going up. Or a lot of people are like, no. Here is where we are. We're having this meltdown right here, and we are going to have that bounce. So whether it's right here or we are here, I am more leaning that we are right here right now, because the whole structure is bearish when you look at it right now. All right, is it? No, actually we're good on the structure on the weekly. I'm still thinking on the daily. So you could say that, hey, in good hands. This is where we are, trying to shake the market, get weekends up, and then we can have that party. Everybody's gonna make money, things are gonna be good before we crush everybody down again. I hope that's the case. And one indication is, see, weekly RSI is at the bottom. And see that how we trying to come out, like we tried to come out of the bottom, but even went lower than, right? And that low is kind of like this. It could be sustained though. It could be sustained. See how that, see how we try to bounce. It came down, similar to what we're doing right now. Came up, that was fake out, and then crushed everybody. But look at this. It stayed there for days and days and days and weeks, right? So let's hope it is that. This is March 2021 though. Where are we March 2020 right here? Look what's happening on July. Look at where March is right there. So you could say we already did that March bottom and we bounced up, and now this is where we are, right? So that is the two sentiment. People are feeling like this is where we are. But this happened in March. This happened early 2021, right? We came up, everybody was hyped, money, making money, then Luna and everything happened. All the crash took us back here. So if we are here, all we're waiting for is that little pounce here, which I believe it's gonna happen. It may be like go back and test the 100, because look at this. We came down to 32, we went up to 48, so about $10,000 relief rally, right? And you have a nice party there. Well, my whole point was this thing went hundreds of days. From this breakdown right here to the cross right there that week. That is 539 days going down. This is the same thing that I was measuring right there. Same thing that I measured, and needs to go back here, and then you have almost the same 539 days, right? The reason why I extended is we said we are going down until we're so close to last bull market top of 69, right? We $10,000, $20,000 away, less than $20,000 away from that, right? Because so if we come down to test that and we don't hold it, then you better believe we coming down to lower 40s and 30s. We're going to test the top side of this line right here, and that's $39,000. So we better hope that it holds 68, that was the top, or maybe bottom of that channel, which was $52,000. You break down that, you are at 40,000 or 39.40. You break down that, then you're talking about $32,000. That's the 50% of that line channel or close, right? So there's substantial move to the downside if we don't hold any of these supports. First important one is to hold that right there where it came down. That's about $74,000. And then the rest will be history if we break down, right? Every bounce creates a chance, so we will never see Bitcoin 15, 16, 20,000, but hey, they want to crush the market, they got deep pockets. They can. BlackRock alone and MicroStrategy alone can break this market. All right, so that's all. Let's move away from that. I spent so much time that's unnecessary on that. Let's check out bubbles always. Man, the time's running so fast. The time is so running. So right. So you see all the hype about, oh, there's a bounce, everything is going up, and you look at the charts in the weekly and you're like, what are you guys talking about? You mean you round tripping? You mean you go 5% and then 3% down and then 2% and then 7% down? Is that the bounce you're telling me? Because I don't see a bounce. I see no bounce here, right? And you go to the daily and you're like, yeah, there's some new thing that's going on. SBX is trying to recover from what it lost, right? That is going to be the number one, and now it's 63 cents, right? But really, they're like the top players that's supposed to go up if this market wants to go up, isn't performing at all. So 3, 4, 5% in the market should not hype you, because we're not going anywhere until liquidity comes back to the market. And the king of this market is Bitcoin. Unless you see Bitcoin moving substantial amount, don't let anybody sell you that you're going to see a altcoin market. You will not see an altcoin market until people see Bitcoin as overvalued. And right now it's undervalued. It's not overvalued. So if money comes to the market, they're not buying any new stuff. They're not buying Dash or SPX or ADA or Aster. They don't care. They're buying Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin is struggling, right? Where is Bitcoin here? It's supposed to be the top performer. It's not there. That should tell you, hey, slow down. Think about it, right? If Zcash was the best, why didn't they buy it from the start of the time? It's a liquidity. They're just trying to hype you, so you move your money to Zcash before they sell all of it and put that money back to Bitcoin. Because where did the money that pushed Zcash from nothing to where it is right now, almost 1,500%, where did that money came from? That money rotated from Bitcoin. And by the time they understand that, hey, we did good on Zcash, our money is not growing, they taking that money back to where it belongs, and that's Bitcoin, right? So yeah, the money left to Bitcoin, but where did the money go? It went to Zcash. It went to few of the things that they kept hiding. We saw early BitGet move to multiple hundred. Where did that money came from? Bitcoin. It's a liquidity move. They just getting out of this. And here you thought Bitcoin was going to 200. They kept hyping you. Bitcoin is going to go to 100,000 until they break you. But they did not tell you that Zcash was going to be the top mover. They did not. None of us knew until Zcash started moving. Otherwise, everybody would have front run. We only knew when they hyped that thing to crazy amount of percentages, right? So that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. Don't believe. Liquidity comes, it's going to Bitcoin. You better believe, right? It may go to Ethereum and Solana and XRP, but it's not passing those first until they make enough money from those projects. All right, so that's all. A little bit of rant, non-stop talk about nothing that matters. All right, let's go and see Arena. I'm sharing this with you guys. Go ahead and follow me on the Arena and share the links, and let's grow together, guys. And also everybody on TikTok, check out the top of my page. Go follow my subscribe to my TikTok, my YouTube. Ask if you want to do it. Otherwise, don't worry about it. We got this. We will hustle. All right, what is this talking about? Strong daily inflows in the U.S. Spot crypto markets. A U.S. spot crypto exchange traded fund recorded another day of solid inflows, significant sustained institutional demand across major digital assets, According to the latest data, Bitcoin and Ethereum once again led the way, while Solana continued to its impressive streak of consecutive positive trading session. Breakdown of the daily inflows, the reported net inflows for the previous trading day as follows: $128 billion to Bitcoin, $78 million to Bitcoin, Solana $53 million, XRP $35 million, H bar $986,000, Litecoin $0, and Dogecoin $1,800,000 of ETF buys. Solana has now posted 21 consecutive green candle days, making it one of the strongest performing assets in terms of ETF demand consistently. That's good. What's driving the persistent demand? Several key factors appears to be fueling the continued inflows: ongoing institutional portfolio allocations, improving regulatory clarity in the U.S., growing acceptance of crypto as a micro asset class, diversification beyond Bitcoin into the altcoin ETFs. All right. Congrats to everyone who's holding that. This is talking about the same thing. Did I open the same page? It looks like it's the same article. Let's go see if they have another funny article to read. This might be interesting. Let's see. One of America's largest bank moved to blockchain. U.S. Bank, a top 5 bank financial institutions with more than 671 billion in asset under management, has officially partnered with Stellar Lumens, testnet tokenization of deposits and assurance of digital tokens directly on the blockchain. This is one of the most significant signals yet that traditional banking infrastructure is moving beyond experimental pilot and towards a real blockchain integrations. The announced instrument instantly placed Stellar and its native asset XLM in a spotlight and as an institutional grade network for regulate. What is this? How 14 drops down? Well, what? Man. Okay, sorry guys. According to the announcement, U.S. Bank is experimenting with tokenization of customer deposit, assurance of digital representation of fiat funds. And you have to understand, like, the moment they tap into the decentralized finance, I mean, they will make less money if they want to, but also the biggest profiters of decentralizing finances and banks is the user, because hey, you don't need to go find where the bank is now. Your money is decentralization. They shouldn't be charging you a lot of money if you go use it in offices or send somebody your money. You should be able to receive and send money easy. Those are all the benefits of decentralization. So congrats to the US Bank. You've done it. We want to see a lot of institutions doing the same thing. All right. Hopefully, I'm sharing with you guys. U.S. investigated Bitcoin miner manufacturer Bitmain as a national security risk. Ooh, let's see. This is interesting. Who are they? Are they Democrat-led? The current crazy guy is trying to go after him. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security has investigated Chinese Bitcoin mining equipment manufacturer Bitmain as potential threat to national security, according to seven people similar with the matter. Unnamed sources told Bloomberg that federal investigations led by the DHS and codename Operation Red Sunset has focused on questioning of whether the farm mining hardware could be controlled remotely for espionage purposes or even to undermine the U.S. power grid. Ew. The investigation have been conducted at the same time as inquiries by the Senate Intelligence Committee, which in July published a report that could concluded that Bitmain's machines can be forced by the PRC to turn over the data in accordance with the Chinese national security laws. The same report also declared that Bitmain's miners have the capability to remotely control Bitmain's personnel in China, citing a New York Times article from October 2023, which reported on the discovery of block backdoor in Bitmain's equipment as far back in 2017. So why did they waited all this time if they knew that was happening? Federal suspicion of Bitmain's predates the current Trump administration, with then President Joe Biden issuing an order in May 2024 that prohibits Bitmain's partners from operating mining facilities in those to a Francis E. Warren Air Force Base. One of the primary concerns underlying this the investment order was that Bit1 partners facility used foreign sources equipment that is presented as significant national security concerns. Such concerns have remained under the current administration despite the fact that President Donald Trump's two sons have links to American Bitcoin, which agreed to purchase 16,000 Bitcoin machines this year in deal with 314 million. So it could be a deal gone wrong. Like if you don't give us all the machines and we'll give you a little bit of money. Hey, guess what else we can do? Use the government to shut you down. Bloomberg's report suggests that Department of Homeland Security investigation was complemented by the discussions at the White House National Security Council, where inquiries began under the Biden presidency to continue into at least the early months of Trump administration. Federal custom officials have also stopped and inspected Bitcoin's equipment at U.S. ports on various occasions, while federal investigation into Bitcoin has considered whether tariff violations may also be occurred. Bitcoin just rejected any claims that it is remotely controlled by its machines. It can even remotely control machines. Informed Bloomberg is in a statement that it has never engaged in activities that pose risk to the U.S. national security, and that it has not received any information regarding any federal investigation into this product. That's crazy. That's crazy. But it's hard to see at this moment that Trump is kind of pushing. I mean, it's probably China deal with the Chinese. He also tied with TikTok and stuff. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that goes. Or it could be the same deal that the American miners released by the Trump sons. If they want to buy that whole thing, they want to push it to the extent that they can take over, basically. So let's see what that is. All right, let's see what's happening in the UK and the crypto market. The United Kingdom's Financial Conduct Authority, or FCA, approved a regulatory technology RegTech company company, I don't even know, to run experiments in its sandbox, which offers one of the clearest indication yet on how the country intends to build its forthcoming crypto rulebook. On Wednesday, the FCA announced that ANI will test a set of standardized crypto disclosure template with a major exchanges including Coinbase, Crypto.com, and Kraken. The company will test whether the templates improve transparency when used in real world settings. Okay, the FC, so they kind of, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. Nobody knows what's happening or how things are going. All right. Let's see how far they go with. Decentralized financing has made it major technological strides, but phases fate or now sits outside the blockchain industry, according to Chainlink co-founder Sergey Nazarov. In his view, DeFi has already proven that it can do what it lacks is permission from world's financial superpowers to scale it. Why would they scale it if they want to keep the money the way it is? These are all thieves. And you're telling thieves not to steal by decentralizing and putting a footprint on every penny, right? We know these thieves rule the world and they need that money to be hidden from whoever they paying or whoever they bribing or whoever they buying. You know what I mean? But when you make it a decentralized, and we know all these governments and the wallets they hold or create or send money to, right? So why would they take the risk to decentralize everything? Why would they take the risk to remove money, control of money from their hands? It doesn't make any sense, does it? All right, guys, that's all I have today. There's some of the articles we read today. Nothing major, nothing relates to how the market's going. It looks like it's going to be quiet week unless something crazy comes up. I do not see any indications of data, of any data release that will affect the market so far. No hint of it. If you know, you can share that with me. But let me share with you guys this page. And this is all we see. Basically generic. And some price predictions, go to this website, guys. If you want to, everyone on the arena, you can see it. And then you can see all these little newsletters and stuff. Once you click the article, you'll be able to click the second sub part of the page that opens, and then it will take you to the website where the article is posted. Then you can read all of it over there. Let me see. Okay, yes, today. So that's all today. We got nothing else. Let's check the news one more time, shall we? Last couple of days we added a little bit of news scanning and see what's going on, if there's any interesting stuff to read. Obviously, I do not trust these outlets. That's one of the reasons why I don't want to deal with anything to do with news. But we want to understand how they're thinking. We want to understand how they're thinking, don't we? All right. Let's talk about Venezuela a little bit. Okay, I mean Colombia. Oh, this is the Colombian guy, not Venezuela guy. Okay. And at least no news is coming, or they just clearly trying to not mention anything to do with what that country is currently doing. That's a crazy thing. Well, we just figured it out. We can't read any news on on CNN because they blocked it. See, You literally have to pay it, sign up to use it. That's how you know they're losing grip. These social media platforms are just losing grip. You can't read any of the articles, blah blah. I mean, who wants to pay subscription on to read articles on CNN? I don't want to. All the news I want is on X. All right. A new release video shows the aftermath of violent neighborhood street takeover that ended with the cars being torched and couple being beaten in what officials call implanned attack in New York City over the weekend. The incident broke out at around 12:30 a.m. Sunday after large groups of drivers descending on South Drive and 141st Street in Malba, a neighborhood located in Queens. According to the NYPD, the vehicles were seen speeding over residential lawns and doing donuts in streets as the scene devolved into chaos. According to a video shared by City Councilwoman Vicky Palladino, who represented the neighborhood, and the events unfolded. Lori Reich, a private security guard who lives in the area, heard the commotions outside his home and went outside to discover 40 vehicles speeding through the streets, according to the New York Post. In an attempt to defuse the situation, Rush reportedly parked one of his vehicles in the intersection, tried to block drivers from causing more damage. As soon as I did that, everyone started leaving. Rush told the Post. Then two individuals go up to the car. Somehow they threw some kind of firework or something and lit the car up. That's crazy. That's crazy, New York. What are you up to? What are you doing, New Yorkers? Are you guys losing your mind? All right, California. Come on, just be quiet, please. California gubernatorial candidate and Democrat Representative Eric Swalwell claims that members of the military are telling him they can be check on President Trump. And Don Lemon's show Monday, Swalwell discusses the controversy of a video of six Democrat lawmakers urging service members to refuse legal orders from Trump. The Department of War later announced that on X that it launched a formal review into allegations of misconduct against Arizona Senator Mark Haley, a retired Navy captain, for appearing on this video. So I'll argue that the President Trump administration told on itself, a, itself by going after Kelly for his call to resist illegal orders and reveal that some service members have been behaving as a check on the president. So that's so crazy. It's like this administration is going so far. Like no matter whether they served or not, they are private citizens right now, and they're elected officials. It's so crazy. All right. As families across the U.S. gather on Thanksgiving to celebrate one of the nation's most cherished national holiday, some educators and schools are lamenting the day, pushing back on its colonial roots and incorporating diversity, equality, and inclusion (DEI) into the holiday. As the University of California Davis and the California History Social Science Project, which describes itself as a resource and professional learning from K-12 historical social sciences, hosted a Zoom event called Decolonizing Thanksgiving in the classroom. We will discuss reframing classrooms practices and rituals about Thanksgiving. The event's description explained centering perspective from Turtle Island, one of the names of one that a name for North American used by some indigenous people, will help us decolonize Thanksgiving and spark new conversations about how to authentically make a meaning of this holiday with our students. So basically, questioning the ethics of the whole Thanksgiving thing. All right, a lot of turkeys. Please save the turkeys. I'm just saying, don't get angry at me. Okay, people, eat your turkeys. It's healthy. It's basically a chicken. All right. All right. This is crazy, man. Fake IDs. It's like whenever the other side is in control of government, the opposition feels to push everything to the side, and like right now, Fox News is having crazy moment, right? Labeling everything as crazy, like, hey, these liberal teachers and schools are trying to do this. It's crazy. A massive operation targeting underage drinking in Tampa, Florida, has led to 249 arrests at a single bar last week. The raid, which took place last Thursday, Tampa Tarvin, was the second major police sweep at the bar in just 1 year. The incident involved underage drinking who used fake IDs and gave false information, according to Fox News, Fox 10 Phoenix. Report of the repeated violations have raised questions about the bar's responsibility in serving alcohol to its customers, while sanctions are bending due to the ongoing investigation. The incident could result in license suspension. The Arizona Department of Liquor and Timber PD partnered in a joint operation, resulting in a major liquor law compliance check. That led to 249 arrests. The Department of Liquor License and Control (ADLLC) on Friday. This crackdown especially targeted underage drinking and sent a strong message. The department ended. Remember to always carry an ID, a valid ID, and think twice before attempting to purchase alcohol if you're underage. Underage drinking is not a minor issue. One of the 249 arrests, 246 people are cited for release and released. Fox 10 reported that remaining individuals are reportedly booked into the Tampa City jail. That's crazy. Stop drinking. Stop kids from drinking. That's what they're trying to say. But hey, you made it illegal for people to buy. If an elder person can buy, a child can buy at the same time, right? Stop it across the board. Make it illegal. Stop production of alcohol. It's not gonna help anybody, right? I don't understand how crazy it is that you can't understand. There's no benefit for you to just keep drinking, right? All right. So, like I said, they don't like to go too far when it comes to Fox News um, since they are the ruling party right now. They label everybody as the villain and terrible person to deal with, and they keep, pushing their own agenda forward, right? The racist, the divisive, unethical ideas that they now came up with. And this was one of the things, one of the reasons why I kept supporting, even though I knew the whole underlying problems. Is like, hey, I know they're so racist. Majority of Republicans are fanatics, like racist individuals who only want, uh, you know, a small group of people to basically exist on this planet. But look at the things that we agree on and we could work on with them. But it's becoming harder every single time. The amount of attacks, the amount of insults, the amount of divisions that they're creating. It's a pure sadness. All right. Appreciate you, anyone who's joining me from TikTok. Thank you so much for your time. I will continue with the YouTube and Arena. For now, I'm going to sign off from TikTok. So I'll see you guys, and you have a wonderful, amazing time. All right, now that TikTok is gone, all right, so we are only streaming on YouTube and Arena app. Let me see how many of you are in the Arena app. Basically, oh, two of you. Nice. Thanks for being here, everyone. Appreciate you guys. Um, let's see. Let's go to X. Oops, what have I done? I'm gonna stop sharing there. Just gonna go to X.
Michael, you're my brother from another mother when it comes to sector rotations. You know, because it's like we look at the same things and it's obvious. Uh, Biotech,
I
a
like
very
this
good
one, guys.
point. Biotechs are interest rate sensitive. Small caps are interest rate sensitive also, but there's a problem with the actual concept and philosophy of the IWM because it's, in my opinion, becoming an outdated index because of the compression of cycles and how quickly a Palantir can go from being in the small cap space or an SMCI can go in from being in the small cap space. And 6 months later, let's skip the mid cap. You know, mid cap indices. You could just skip those because you're going to go straight from the IWM to the S&P 500. And after that happens, what happened to Palantir's price? It went from 30 to 180, or 200. And I think the IWM is an index that loses its best companies. It's losing its champions because they get so big they have to go into the larger indices, and then they become the champions. So the top 50 of the IWM are the most important companies because they're not going to be there probably at some point in the next year. So I do think there are problems with the IWM, but you're spot on. And this bifurcation of the market is what has allowed the S&P to go down at only 7% at its worst, because there's so many things that have been left for dead. On the point of industrials, you make an excellent point. I believe the XLI is nowhere near as important as it was because the chip industry is now such a big part of that manufacturing process. Everything that gets made in the world has chips. So I do think that the XLI is not going to be as powerful as it was in the last 20 years, given the fact that chips have emerged as a hybrid industrial and tech space.
Thank you, Eladio.
Thanks, Eladio. Appreciate it.
Let me go to Robert, who has had a couple of days worth of housing-related news that he wanted to go ahead and share with us, along with a special holiday offer to our audience from a hobby that he runs. Go ahead, Robert.
Okay, thank you, David. Hey, I just want to go over some of this housing news. Rates are dipped down to about 6.2. Yesterday, down 12 basis points. FHA is down to 5.82. VA down to 5.85 on the 30-year. So it's about the lowest they've been in about a month now. New conforming loan limits came out yesterday. Those are at $832,750. Retro conventional conforming loan limit is 6. It's up about $26,000 from this year. And then you have high balance loans. So if you live in an area where it's 115% of your local median value exceeds the conforming loan limit, then high loan balance limits come into play, and that's about $1.249 million for high loan balances. We got some home price indexes come out. FHFA came out yesterday. This is what the federal regulators use to determine those conforming loan limits. And it tracks homes with Fannie or Freddie conforming mortgages. It excludes jumbo loans, most new construction, cash purchases, kind of skews towards your middle income, FHA price range markets. And typically it holds a stronger price growth than Case-Shiller because it captures that cheaper market that's still rising. So they have home appreciation at 2.2% year over year nationwide, 0.2% quarter over quarter. Prices rose in 44 states plus DC, and despite the high rates and affordability problems, the national market is still inching upward. But the headline does kind of hide that regional divergence. So you got your Sun Belt and overpriced Western metros that are cooling, while your Midwest and South are kind of holding prices better. Case-Shiller price index this year tracks repeat sales of the same property over time. So it's a repeat sales methodology. That involves all loans, jumbo, cash buyers, investors, conventional. Heavily weighted more towards big, expensive coastal metro areas, think New York City, LA, San Francisco. So often, Case-Shiller will show more volatility because of the high price markets swing a little harder. But it's also considered, the Wall Street benchmark for home price appreciation. But month over month, prices fell 0.3% and slowed to a 1.3% year-over-year increase in September. Marks the slowest home price growth since 2011. So you kind of see in this a month of affordability strain and high rates are kind of finally dragging down home prices, especially in the West. So, given typical seasonal slowdown of the last quarter of the year, that typically suggests 2025 it may finish with historically subdued gains. Not necessarily depreciation, but 0.5%, 1% gain by the time the year's up. Redfin released some interesting numbers. They showed 84,000 delistings in September, the highest number in 8 years. They showed 70% of active listings sat on the market 60 plus days. And what it's kind of telling us is that sellers would rather pull their homes off the market than cut prices. And this is why inventory feels tight even though demand is cooling. So I don't know if it's necessarily a supply problem or a seller psychology problem, but I certainly expect price discovery to be a 2026 story. It's definitely not a 2025 one. Pending home sales come out from NAR. A little bit of a surprise, up 1.9% month over month for October. It's still down 0.4% year over year. If you get your Midwest and South, which are kind of showing resilience, and the West is still kind of the problem child there. So there's a little bit of activity, a burst of activity there with rates dropped, but it's really going to take rates to break lower for this to kind of stick there. Home builder sentiment came in at 38. It's up 1 from 37, which is deeply pessimistic. Anything below 50 is considered contraction. Traffic and future sales expectations remain soft there. And then I know previously foreclosure numbers came out. A lot of people have probably seen a lot of scary numbers from the news, but kind of put things in perspective. Foreclosure filings were up 19% year over year. Foreclosure starts up 20%. Completed foreclosures up 32%. It marks 8 consecutive months of a rise in foreclosure numbers. Your top 5 states with the highest rates being Florida, South Carolina, Illinois, Delaware, and Nevada. But keep in mind this here, the FHA moratorium on foreclosures ended in October. So there was a bit of a backlog of foreclosures that were being held up, waiting for that to end. That went through. And then to put this in perspective, currently nationwide, about 1 in 3,800 households are in foreclosure process. Historically, that number is typically 1 in 200. So we're far off from even the historical number. If you go back to the 08 crash, at its peak, Q3 of 2010, 1 in 25 houses were in foreclosure, 1 in 25 households. So we're a far way off that number. And it really does kind of show that this is really a regional story. And depending on the region you're in, it can greatly swing. And there are some home buyers, home builders out there who are exposed quite a bit to this. LGI Homes, which is a FHA heavy buyers, operate in the Southeast, Texas and Florida. KB Homes, California, Nevada, Arizona. They're having affordability issues, guidance cuts. Dream Finders, they showing a backlog of conversion risk and the margins sliding. These are homes which have tiny margins, Southeast exposure, lower income fragility, and Century Community, which has incentive risk and volume exposure. Now, a lot of these builders operate on less than a 20% profit margin. So when you start talking about these incentives where they're given paying 3 points to buy down the client's rate, paying 3 points to pay for the closing cost, and additional incentives and things, you're going to cut into that profitability really quick, and that's going to end up reflecting there in earnings reports, and things are going to come up short. So there may be some opportunity there. I'm not an expert in that, but certainly may be something that's worth looking into. And then, beyond that, I got a little hobby business on the side, keyrings and crosses.com. For anyone in the audience who's looking for a cool gift, it's inexpensive. For someone that's hard to buy, you might find something on there you like. For anyone here, the Finance Daily family here, use the code Finance Daily. You get 50% off any of your purchases between now and the end of the year. And, beyond that, it's pretty much everything there. Back to you, David.
Love that. Look at that. You listen to the show, you get a deal, you get a daily deal. So go ahead, Robert. Again, the website for people, just in case they didn't hear it.
Yeah, the website is keyringsandcrosses.com. So they're custom rings with keys inlaid onto them, and then custom crosses. So pretty cool items, inexpensive, something unique. That might be cool for someone it's hard to buy for.
Excellent, excellent. Full disclosure, it's Robert's business. I get no vig on this. There's no kickback here, folks. It's just something that Robert wanted to offer out to the audience, and of course, as a regular participant, I'm more than happy to go ahead and facilitate that. I did want to go ahead and update you. We got the jobless claims for last week. Initial jobless claims decreased by 6,000 to 216,000. This is important. It's the lowest since mid-April. And continuing jobless claims up just a little bit to 1.96 million. So labor is really, despite all of the government shutdown cuts we've heard about from large and small companies, it doesn't seem that we are getting an enormous effect in the jobless numbers. And so at this point, the unemployment rate, may not very well be bothering the Fed. We will see. Again, 9th and 10th is the Fed's meeting. The last story that I wanted to cover on the day, because so many people in this space, including myself, are crypto focused centric, is that the state of Texas is the first state in the United States to have actively purchased Bitcoin. Well, it really didn't buy Bitcoin. It bought BlackRock's ETF, the IBIT, and it bought $5 million worth. Now, let's be honest. This is not a large beginning step by any stretch of the imagination. First of all, the fact that they didn't buy Bitcoin outright is actually something that is, I don't think troubling to me. It just would have been a bigger statement than if they would have bought, than them buying the ETF. At the end of the day, economically, same deal. And then the second part of it is, I think it is important in terms of all the states that have made initiatives, the push by the Bitcoin lobby to have sovereigns, governments, municipalities, even corporate enterprises go ahead and use Bitcoin as a treasury asset, along with other treasury assets that they have, cash, treasuries, and other readily liquid securities. This is an important first step. Somebody had to be first, same way El Salvador was first on the world stage. And Texas chose to be first. They didn't make a big splash. I mean, it's 5 million out of the 10 million that they've allotted for themselves. I assume at some point they will go ahead and buy a second slug of 5 million or so to get to their 10 million mandate. But it is important because this, it's certainly not a trend, but certainly everything has to start somewhere. In the context of the current swoon, my guess is that Texas has made very, very worthwhile purchases. I think they will be up on their purchase sooner than they expect, and in addition, they will be up big over a period of time, percentage-wise. But nevertheless, it's just important for people to know that finally we have a state in the United States that has made the move. As with all transformations, this is going to be slow, and it will be, at least for those that you've wanted to become a regular way treasury asset for both public and private enterprises. It'll be a slow adoption, but nevertheless, it will happen. It had to start somewhere. Gary, thank you for joining. I see that you're up. Anything to add on this point or anything else?
I think you said it spot on. I've been waiting for one of the states to do this. I never believed, these guys waiting for the SBR with the United States government. Like you're smoking, waiting on the SBR and the United States to say they bought $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. To me, it's silly, but the states doing it, dude, this sets up game theory exactly like Bitcoin was established for. Florida will look at them, they'll look over the state line and go, what's that about? Look, we have Bitcoin on first base now with the states. You had to get someone on the board, and they're probably going to do very well here. And I think people are going to start looking at this. Other governors will look at this and say, hey, what's that? What are they doing? Are they getting good PR over it? I mean, it's just not just about the money. It's, hey, how are people responding to it? So I think this is extremely positive. Now we need another state that's progressive, economically progressive, and says, hey, this is a good strategy. I mean, it's going to get very easy. 10 million here, 30 million there, 50 million there. This is the way it starts, and it's very, very logical. To me, it's very healthy what's happening right now. So, hey, well done. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, guys. You guys have a great week, and think about all the people out there that, we sit around here and talking about, oh, wow, I lost 12% on my portfolio this week. There's a lot of people that don't have 12% to lose. So we're really gifted people. I know that there's lots of issues in the world, but the solutions are all sitting in this room. Very powerful people, guys. I mean, look what we've done in a very short period of time. A bunch of people have come together from all parts of the world, and we're becoming a community. I think that's really awesome. We might argue with each other, but man, the amount of learning going on is absolutely spectacular. And if this is inflation, I want more of it, because I'm getting more friends, more connections, and more information. I think that's really healthy. So you guys have a great week. Thank you.
Gary, excellent. Thank you very much for the warm wishes, and totally agree with the sentiment. By the way, I don't know if anybody else. Am I not seeing hands? Brandon, I see you as a listener. Are you up as a speaker, and do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I'm up here. Oh. Appreciate it.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. Yeah, I will add. Hey, God bless Gary and everybody. That's, that was beautiful. So thank you for that. And same. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family and everybody in here. One thing I'll add about the Bitcoin strategy, and I'm really disappointed in, is that Pennsylvania, I think, was the first or one of the first to introduce the legislation to allow us to, I think it was use just a piece of our strategic reserve or whatever. And for whatever reason, last year in 2024, it didn't pass. It didn't even actually get to a vote. So I'm not 100% sure what happened there, but that was really disappointing. However, Texas doing this, I mean, you can't get a better starting point than Texas. Other people are going to, they're going to follow the trend. It was a matter of time. That's the first domino to fall. And I think that's really exciting. It just makes sense why any of these states wouldn't or would have an issue with it. I'm not sure. Maybe, as Gary's pointing out, some of them just aren't as financially progressive as others. But it's a matter of time now before we start seeing more of those happen. And so I think it's an exciting time for it.
Excellent. And by the way, on the point of Brandon being up on my screen as a listener, speakers every day. This is a blanket forever and ever. If I assume that I can't see your hand if I'm not calling on you, because I'm definitely not that kind of guy to see a hand and not call on somebody. So totally cut in and assume that Dave cannot see the hand, and you're more than welcome to go ahead and interject. Please, every single day. Just assume I can't see. Eladio, I see your hand. Go ahead, sir.
This will be very quick, and I wanted to bring up something that I forgot to mention that you were in the costume, which I consider you two, by the way, some of the best people when it comes to retail that on X, you, David, and the two Davids. There's something that I always look at. I don't ever buy retailers, but if I were to buy and have bought, the few times I have bought retailers, I've always bought TJX or Macy's. I always go mid quality to higher quality. I have, if you look at the divergence in performance between the Dollar Generals and the Macy's, I mean, complete divergence. I think you mentioned Abercrombie. Abercrombie is more of a middle class to upper class, young kids, rich parents place to go shopping. Does that make sense? I think that the lower end of the K is a problem still, and I don't know. I don't know if the lower end retailers are going to have the recovery that we think, in spite of the fact that we're estimated to spend $1 trillion for the first time in the history of the Christmas holiday season. So that's just a point I wanted to make about quality in retail.
Excellent. Thank you, Eladio. I'm going to go ahead and sign off and wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. As a parting shot, I will let you know that for those that are fans of the Rush Hour franchise with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, with the very strong urging of President Donald J. Trump, Paramount, controlled by David Ellison, his good friend's son, Larry Ellison's son, they have secured funding to go ahead and produce Rush Hour 4 because President Trump wants to see the Rush Hour franchise live on. If you think that there's no value in being in the good graces of this president, clearly there is. To all the Rush Hour fans, I'm very happy for you.
I'm
Enjoy
talking
the next
to this guy over
installment
here
of the
bothering me.
franchise. It is funny. And to
You see,
everybody, I wish you all a
he like
happy
leave me
Thanksgiving.
alone.
Thank you again for being part of my extended family. I say that, I think, on behalf of everybody here. It's a great family here. We all wish each other an incredible holiday weekend. No show tomorrow, no show Friday. We will see you again bright and early with lots to discuss on Monday morning. Have a great weekend and a very happy holiday. Take care, folks. Thanks again.
Let's see. Wow, it was crazy.
What's crazy?
Hmm.
What's crazy?
Um, it's I watched the world and I looked at it. I'm like, okay, let's try it.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
What about dominating the world?
So dominating.
I would love to dominate the world. No, just joking.
Really? So what plans do you have today?
I don't know, do we have any doctor's appointments?
Let me check my Google Calendar, and let me go to the week. No, they only got Bible study later,
Okay.
but nothing today.
Nothing today?
Nothing today. Would you like to do anything? I mean, technically we can't do anything much because let me mute Well, sorry, I had to mute you guys a little bit. And crazy thing is, uh, trying a way to. Okay, so trying another way to generate this. But okay, so if I am doing a live stream, let's say, okay, so detail. Do they have any suggestions or something like that? Because I'm trying to make it a better way to start the live stream without. Hmm. Okay, so times 6 a.m., 9 a.m. overall published best times. Yeah, nobody knows the best times to publish or anything like that, but I can tell you. Um, that we would find a better time some point. We'll find a better time some point. It says low process to win in basically live streaming. I'm not trying to win in live streaming. I am just trying to put the channel there and be, you know what I mean? Basically be there, 4,000, 10 million. So those stats do not change. But the crazy thing is, in the 9 hours, this valid 9 hours is not changing. So I wonder if it's from YouTube side that don't want to update the stats on my channel. Because it says the last time they did change was November 21st, right? Later. So it did not update. So I'm wondering if, most likely I would say it's uh, yeah, it's not fun. I'm wondering between starting a new channel or continue doing this one, because at this point, honestly, like the long form content isn't getting. It's not okay. A brand new live feature has dropped. What is this live feature that they talking about? Have you guys? I have not seen any new live feature dropping for YouTube. But it looks like they have a new feature. What is the feature? Huh. So you can stream with a game. Okay, so is that for specific people? Made in YouTube today. Okay, is it that through the app? Let me see. Let me see if I am updated. Let's see if I need to update. Yeah, we need to update this. And then okay, it's taking a minute. But then we'll see if the update is actually something that would have effect on our channels. Yeah, but okay, so let's see. Let's see. Let's try to say we are going live here. Not post. Let's say we're going live. Same features coming up. Let's say we want to update, and you select gender and all of that stuff. So if we say not for kids, and then we go live. I'm trying my other channel to see. I think I should push both channels and say, okay, a new emerging moderate can, okay, close. So no, it's not showing me anything new. I'm testing on my, you can choose a green screen. What else can you do? So I don't think I don't think it's going to affect anything at all. You see, I'm doing my other channel. So unless they designed for other creators, like some creators for now, but it does not appear at all. If you're saying it's like before you trying to go live, let me see.